Oh shit. Here we go again. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another weekly setup. So I'm going to be analyzing over 20 pairs using fxalexg set and forget strategy. And let me show you guys what we are looking to see this week. So I'm going to be analyzing all these pairs right here, all the 20 pairs again. Now, these past 2 weeks, man, I don't know what's happening. Right, market has basically been slow. First of all, I've only taken 2 trades these past 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure I actually lost the both of them. But that's just the reality of forex sometimes. Usually in a week, I try to see if I can get like 3 trades. If I lose 2 and I win 1, I'm still breaking even for that week. But if I win anything more than 1 trade, I'm up like 8% and all those good stuff. But these past 2 weeks, they have been very, very slow. So let us see what we have this new week. So GBP NZD, the move has already happened. Basically, I think I was willing to actually continue selling this market, but at some point it switched bullish. We didn't get the confirmation we were looking for. I remember that here is supposed to be a left head, right shoulder. I mean, we were supposed to sell from here, but we didn't get the confirmation. When price broke above, I was actually thinking of buying this market, but I decided not to break my rules this week, right? Because I've already done my analysis, and the forecast for GBP NZD was supposed to be sales, right? So as I saw this clean, the market action was looking clean for buys at when market opened. I wanted to break my rules, but I decided not to. So that is the only reason I didn't actually even take these buys. But I took one sell here, or was it buys? And it just took me out. So first pair for the week, GBP NZD. The daily time frame is bullish. The weekly time frame is bullish, but we don't seem to have a clean area of interest on any of these 2 time frames. 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame is also bullish. So let me delete this. So on the 4-hour time frame, I can just see a minor area here. On the 4-hour time frame, I can see a minor area here. Now we have all this time frame bullish, but we don't have an area of interest for the daily or weekly, which is where we are supposed to be drawing area of interest. But we are using a 4-hour area of interest here, which have 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially 5 rejection from this area, right? There around psychological level here. As you can see, there's a round psychological level here is 2.3. So let me draw it. Round psychological level. Um, 2.3000. So the area of interest we are using for GBP NZD is the 4-hour area of interest. So it's not as strong as the daily or the weekly area of interest, number 1, but it can still be considered a valid area of interest. And this time frame, 1-hour time frame, is currently bearish, right? So let us see how we'll play this market for buys next week. So I don't think we can enter on this time frame, because for price to shift structure, you need to break above this high, right? And if it breaks above this high, basically the market is already gone. So let's go to the 30 minutes. Let's see whether we have anything there. So the 30 minutes. Alright, so the 30 minutes, we can just wait for a clean enough break and retest above any minor level here. So I can see a minor support and resistance level around here. Let me show you guys. As you can see right here, we have 1 rejection from here, 2, 3, 4 rejection. So we don't have to enter on Sunday night. So if price can have a break and retest above here, you can just simply continue with the full buying momentum with a higher time frame. As you can see, the higher time frame is clearly having going bullish, right? So it's possible that we'll just continue going bullish, right? So That is the first pair for the week. We are paying attention to the 30 minutes time frame. What we are going to be looking for is a break and retest above to buy. So something just like this. Stop loss will be below around here. So that will be the first pair for the week. GBP NZD 4 buys. GBP CHF next pair. Daily time frame. Let's delete everything again. I was looking to buy this market. Why? Let me look at it well. Okay, yeah, I remember. Okay, so let's see. But we did not buy this market. I don't think price gave us the price option we are looking for. Okay, all right. So we are waiting for a break and retest above this level. It never happened. We never really took any trade, right? At some point, I was actually paying attention to buy the market from here, right? Because this was like a clean break and retest, right? But the problem was that the entry time frame itself, which is the 1 hour, right, was still bearish. So basically, this was how price was looking. Price was bullish, right? As far as when price closed below this level, let me just explain it in case some people are trying to learn, just for learning sake, right? You can just skip a little bit to the front to understand when I'm doing the analysis, right? So let me just explain why this trade did not take it, right? So this right here was price going bullish, right? This was the low, this was the high, right? So price now broke above that high, making this the new higher high and making this the new higher low. So now price broke below, right? So this was around where we are supposed to be looking for buys based on what the 4 hour was telling us, right? But this entry time frame itself switched bearish, meaning that this is the lower low, and this is the lower high. So we can't really still buy from a bearish market on the entry time frame, right? That time frame has to turn bullish before we buy. So that's what we're just waiting for. We're waiting for price to break above this high, which technically still means that we are still going to still wait for this break and retest again, which never happened, and that's how we avoided this loss, right? So it was not magic. We just followed the system and then we avoided that loss. So let us analyze this pair again and see if we have anything. So we delete everything and let's see what we have here. Now this pair, let's see, daily time frame is, is bullish, right? This time frame is bullish, but the selling momentum from recent with current market price action, let me explain what I mean. This bullish momentum happened here, and that was about 50 days ago. Now 50 days ago price action is still very valid, right? It's very valid, right? But the current price data that is happening right now is just showing that price is strongly bearish. If you look at every single candle now, I'm just realizing it from last week's analysis, right? The red candles from this current price action compared to the blue candles, right? The red candles are very stronger, So like just buying blindly doesn't actually make sense. Do you understand? So let's see what the weekly is saying. As you can see, even the weekly, you can see that every single week, this week, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, all closed bearish, apart from this week in the middle here. And even that week, the candle was not strong enough to even encompass the price action from the previous week. It just shows that there's still a lot of sellers in this market. So even if we are at that historical low, I'm just realizing it's still possible that these sellers can continue going down, because current price action is showing that GPP is weak, right? It means that GPP is weak compared to CHF, right? Which means CHF is strong. So let us see if the 4 hour time frame has anything to give us there. As you can see, there's basically no price action for us to trade this market. Market has pretty much just been going bearish, right? We can't really try to force any trade here. There's no clean area of interest, even on the daily. I think the only area of interest we had was the one above here on the daily, but price is basically below it. There's no any other price action or area of interest except maybe the one down here. but that will be irrelevant. So we are not paying attention to GBP CHF this week. Let's go to another pair. Euro NZD USD. I took this pair last week and I lost. So pretty much what we were looking for that last week was a clean area of interest. Price shifted bullish. So yes, we did the right thing. We were still buying in the bullish market until FOMC came in. Until FOMC came in. The news on FOMC, by the way, was even a bullish news, but it just ended up closing bearish. I don't know. Like this market this week, this past 2 weeks has been crazy, right? If you look at the price action, right, you can see that every single day price has already been bullish, right? It was going bullish, just that the momentum was not there. That long candles, this momentum, big movement was not there, but clearly the market was bullish. From the EMA you can see that it's bullish. Price is creating new higher highs and higher lows, which is what a uptrend is made up of, right? So the FOMC came out and then it went bullish initially. I would have showed you the screenshots. I didn't put the tab here for the Telegram. It went bullish, so I expected it. If it closed bullish, it means that there's bullish momentum to the upside, which will be very good. That means if you can just keep on that momentum, we'll just hit TP eventually. So, but that candle did not even close bullish. It closed bearish, and then I just knew that it can basically just go to SL. So I told you guys in the Telegram that it might just take some miracle for us to get to profits, which didn't happen, right? Because we basically shifted bearish from this FOMC candle. So as you can see, this was a higher low. Price shifted bearish, and then it just basically the momentum now shifted to the downside. So that's what made us lose that trade. I'm not even sad about the trade because I know what I did. I know what lost. I know everything about the trade, right? So I mean, if you don't know something about a trade that you took, or you don't know why you lost, or any of that, it means you're not really growing. You're not really learning. At least your losses should be teaching you something. If your losses are teaching you something, that simply just means that you are learning, you are growing, right? Something is changing in your forex journey. So let's continue with this forex journey, and eventually everything will get clearer, right? So let's continue and see what we have for this week. It seems like I'm talking too much. Too much motivation. This. All right. No. So let's just analyze and see what we have. So the daily time frame right now is bearish, right? We just shifted bearish. That's one thing with the strategy, because once you take a loss, it have just changed structure totally, right? Weekly time frame, on the other hand, is now currently bearish again, right? We also have a weekly area right here. So let's draw that one first. We have a weekly support and resistance area right here. So let me show you guys what I saw. As you can see right here, you can see that price came into area, rejected up strongly, came into the area, rejected up, same thing here, came here again, rejected up strongly, same thing around here, right? So now price is actually currently below this area, which means it can come back into the area and reject down strongly, right? So that's what the information the weekly time frame is giving us, right? From the EMA you can see that price is now, EMA acts as support and resistance, just like the moving type, right? So basically price is now above EMA, which means it's going to be holding it as resistance, right? The 4-hour time frame, let's see what we have. Okay, no, let's see how the daily time frame aligns, area of interest aligns with the weekly. Alright, so you can see that the daily time frame area of interest aligns with the weekly. Even from here again, we can see that price rejected up here. Let me show you. So price came down, it rejected off this area, came down here at some point, rejected off this area, came down here, rejected off this area, was below at some point and rejected down from this area, right? So it looks like price has more rejection, more to the upside, which means if we are looking for buys, it will be way more valid than sales, because price came down and rejected down, but it didn't reject down strongly. Do you understand? So technically we are supposed to be selling this market, but you just have to be aware of that, right? So that's what the daily is telling us right now. But you can see that daily do not have any clean break and retest. It just shifted bearish, right? 4-hour time frame on the other hand has just pretty much been bearish. Clearly, it also shows that price can have a retracement back to the upside, right? That means, because I mean price has been selling for long, it's possible that price will slow down and have a retracement, because that retracement is always valid. It's always something you always have to look out for, right? So I don't think I'm going to be paying attention to this market personally, right? Because right now some time frame are telling us that we should wait for a retracement back to this area to sell, but this time frame is telling me to wait for a retracement back into this area, and if price is above that area, it means it's biased, right? So I'm not going to be betting my money too much. I just need one bias, right? One bias. GBP USD. GBP USD. I did not take any trade on this pair. We are pretty much waiting for a break and retest to buy, and it looks like it bought all the way up here before having this retracement downward. So if anybody took that trade, I assume that you were in profit. Let's see how the lower time frame are looking. Okay, that FOMC candle again. So it just depends on where you bought. Your stop. This would have actually, let's see. Okay, above. Let me see. This is how the trade is supposed to look like. Something like this. After this engulfing. Let's see whether it got up to 1:2. It got up to 1:2 actually. But us that set and forget traders, we don't need to put take profit target, which means it's still possible that price, anybody that probably close somewhere around here or something. 1:1.17. That's crazy. Anyway, GBP USD, I still don't have any bias for that yet. Right, we are just going to be patiently waiting for a clear break and retest above or below. Next pair, Euro AUD. Alright, now Euro AUD, we are waiting for price to get back to area. Looks like we are at that area right now on the daily time frame. So as you can see on the daily time frame, when price came back to this area multiple times, it came down, it rejected up, it came below, it rejected down. So you can see that this one, it can reject down strongly, right? When it was above, it rejected up, and so on. Now it was below, it came back to area of interest, had a doji, right? And I can see on the daily time frame right here, we also have a left head and a right shoulder right here. So which means we'll be waiting for a retest to sell. That's basically what this market action is telling us now, right now on the daily time frame. So let's see what the weekly is saying. So the weekly is, well, technically bullish, but current price data is showing bearish because we closed below this last structure point right here. Or no, this is the last structure point, right? Which means we are bearish on the weekly. In my own opinion, that's what I'm looking at now, right? Because this price action that happened here, this long candle happened about, let's see how long, happened about 168 days ago. That's too far. You understand? That's why I'm using current price data. So let's see on the 4-hour time frame. Now 4-hour time frame is currently bullish, right? So I'm still going to be needing price to turn bearish again. So let's look for a clean zone that we can use to use as break and retest level. So I will still go to the lower time frame. I just want to see if there's any clean level here. It's not that clean here on the 4-hour. Let's see the 1-hour. All right, now I like as the 1-hour is coming to area of interest and is slowing down, right? So clearly this price action on the 1-hour, it has actually shifted bearish right now, right? But we can't really enter this market yet, right? So me, I'll personally be waiting for this next week, right? I'll be waiting for a break and retest below this level right here, right? So I'm just going to be waiting for a break and retest just like this below this level, just to be sure that price is actually bearish and it's not going to just continue bullish, right? Because this right here is price slowing down. Clearly from the EMA, we are still bullish, right? I still need price to be under EMA to some extent too, right? From the higher time frame is telling us sells, lower time frame is also telling us sells, but EMA is also still telling us buys. And if price is going to have that break and retest, it means it's going to shift structure to the downside, and it looks like we are going to potentially form a left head right shoulder, right? So this trade is good for me for next week. So I'm adding it for these pairs for this week. AUD CHF next pair. Let's see. AUD CHF. Right. So basically, we were also waiting for price to get back to this area of interest to buy. Right. So the daily time frame is, let's see what we have here. Daily time frame is bullish, right? Now, one thing I like is that price was bullish, and then it came back. As it's coming back to area of interest, it had a slowdown, right? As you can see, this candle right here was a very strong momentum candle, but as it got to area of interest, it slowed down a little bit, right? So I need that shift, right? I don't need it to just come back to area of interest and buy immediately. I need it to slow down a little bit so that we can have more structures on the lower time frame for us to buy this market, right? So let us see the weekly. The weekly is also bullish in my opinion, and then the 4 hour, is let's see. In my opinion, I'll still call this bearish. I can see that he shifted structure here, but that's just a one candle, right? I'm not trying to bet my money on that on one candle, right? So I'll still call this bearish, and then I'll use this as my minor level for a break and retest, right? So I need a break and retest above this level to buy next week. So it looks like this market for next week is going to be good enough, right? If we can get these things that we're looking for, we'll be interested in buying this market. So I'm adding it for this pairs for this week. That is AUD CHF. Let's see how the 1 hour looks. Of course, so the 1 hour is slowing down clearly, right? The 1 hour actually shifted bullish. We are supposed to technically be in on this market right now, and our stop loss is supposed to be here. So the trade is technically supposed to be looking like this, right? Yeah, but I'm not taking my chances on Sunday night, right? Sunday night market action is just going to open very fast, right? So I'm not, and it looks like the stop loss is also tight for me. So I'll just be patiently waiting for an additional break and retest above here. Then we'll look for where to put our stop loss based on what market structure is showing, right? So AUD, that's what AUD CHF, right? That is the third pair for the week. Let's see AUD card. Next pair. Daily time frame. There's no current price data, right? So I'm not paying attention to this market. If price gets to this area, I'll be interested in this market actually. If price gets to around this area, right? There's a lot of market structure here, which means price must react from that area anyhow. Price have to react, and if that reaction will just catch from the lower time frame basically. But pretty much not going to happen this week, or I'm not just interested in it. NZD JPY. NZD JPY. Let's see. Alright, so NZD JPY. I believe NZD JPY is actually bearish. Right. I believe NZD JPY is bearish. I'm coming. Let me see what we are. So I'm just trying to extend this a little bit further. So you can see on the daily time frame, this area is a strong area, right? You can see on the daily time frame, this area is a strong area. When price came here, it rejected up. When it was below, it rejected down, right? This was more like a liquidity grab, but it's still below, so it's meant to reject down, right? Just have to look for where to enter. When it was above, it's rejected up, right? And now it's basically inside. It's not below or above yet. But this market is looking good for sales, which means we'll still wait for it to be below, then have a retracement for us to buy. I mean, for us to sell, not buy, right? Weekly time frame. weekly time frame just had a weekly engulfing candlestick, right? Engulfed last week's price action. Okay, and that time frame is what? This weekly time frame is let's call it bearish. Let's call it bearish, right? In 4-hour time frame, 4-hour time frame is also bearish, right? So we just need price to have a break and retest below to continue selling, basically. So something like this. This is not the cleanest price action on the 4-hour, but let's see, is there an round psychological level here? There's a round psychological level above here. 0.8, I mean 87.000. So this is a round psychological level here. So basically we just need a clean enough price action. I think the 1 hour is very clean, and this is basically the entry around here for sales, but we'll wait for a new break and retest below to continue selling. As you can see, we have been selling right now, right? The problem is now I don't know when it's going to change structure, so I hope it's not when we enter before it will start changing structure to the upside, right? So for now, the price data is telling us that we should be selling, so we're just going to keep on selling. So we just need a clean enough break and retest below here to continue selling, right? So I'm adding it for this week. NZD JPY, Euro GBP next pair. Let's see how the daily looks. Now it seems like, let's see what we have. Seems like we have about 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs so far. Okay, all right, so let's continue analyzing. If we get a lot of pairs, then we'll just choose the best to take for this new week. Now for the past 2 weeks, this is the only week now I'm actually feeling like things might actually play out, right? These past 2 weeks has just been crazy for me, right? It's not that I lost too much, it's just 2 trades, but basically price has just been slow, the market has been slow, there's a lot of news happening at the same time. Not my style of, I don't like plenty news happening. Next pair, this pair I didn't really see anything. AUD USD daily time frame. Now we could have a reaction from this level right here. Now I'm actually USD, I actually feel like we'll have a reaction from this level to the upside, by the way. 4-hour time frame, everything is still bearish, right? I can't really bet my money to buy, right? But this is just like a break and retest to buy on the weekly. As you can see, the 4-hour, the daily time frame has a minor level of support and resistance. If you are using order block, there's an order block here clearly, right? I don't use order block basically, but I'm just showing you 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame is slowing down, getting into that area, right? So it's still possible that price might shift structure like this to the upside, something like this, something like this, right? But USD pairs, man, I don't even know what to say about them. They've been doing a lot. Just look at this, that FOMC same market. So I'm not trying to get did it again, so I'm not adding that pair for that week, for this week. Daily time frame on Euro NZD, bullish, very clearly bullish. Weekly time frame also very bullish, and the 4-hour time frame also bullish, right? So all the time frames are bullish, but where is our area of interest, right? Even 4-hour, we can barely see any area of interest. So let me see how the daily looks again. let's go to the 1 hour and see. Now, the thing about this pair is that we don't even have an area of interest, but you see this momentum that's been happening, right? To me, sometimes it just feels like free money, right? Clearly, from the weekly time frame, the bias has been strong, which means euro has been very, very strong compared to NZD, right, in weeks. So basically, let's see how the daily is looking. Even the daily, if you compare the candles, right, look at this candle compared to any of these red candles, it shows that the momentum of the buyers are actually way more. They surpass those of the sellers. Sellers are just basically like retracements on this market. So sometimes forcing buyers on some market that looks clean might not be like a hideous idea to me, though. You get, to me, right? So I mean, this is just like a crazy trade. Just like that crazy trade you took on AUD JPY last week. Let me show you guys. Right, so I didn't even end up taking this trade, right? I was waiting for 1 hour candle to close for me to sell this market. It's one of those crazy things I'm talking about now. Euro NZD, I think, right? So I was just basically waiting for 1 hour to close. So, but it basically just closed. They've almost half the trade, right? So there was no actually need for me to enter, but there was entry on the 30 minutes time frame. But my plan was to enter on the 1 hour time frame. That's how I didn't actually end up taking this trade, right? So is this crazy talk that I'm talking now? This crazy thing I'm saying now is what I'm saying here on Euro NZD, right? So what I'm actually thinking here, right, is that 1 hour time frame clearly looks like it has been buying, right? But if we can get a clean enough break and retest above here, we can just end up continue buying the market and hope for the best, right? This is not, there's no area of interest. There's no a lot of grammar on this trade. All we just know is that this trade, euro has just been stronger than NZD for a lot of time, for a while now. So it's still possible that we'll just continue it will continue to be strong, right? It's still possible it continue to be strong. So I'll just add it for the pairs for the week, right? But just know what we are getting ourselves into, right? It's not one of those pairs that is the best, It's just one of those try your luck pairs, that kind of thing. So Euro USD, basically we are waiting for a break and retest above to buy here, or a break and retest below to sell. But it looks like we had the break and retest above to buy. Didn't even pay attention to this one at all, right? So I've just been missing trades, right? And I've just been missing all these wins I'm seeing here. Let's delete everything here and see. All right, so now the price action is looking cleaner. Let's draw the area of interest here. All right, so let's draw this one. All right, daily time frame is bullish. Weekly time frame, whoa, weekly time frame had a very strong rejection, right? It went up and it rejected. It's like a full doji, and now that is a very big red flag to me, because look at this. This happened one time again, and price basically just melted down, right? So see, same thing here. Can you see? Same thing here. And price basically melted down. So that's number one red flag, showing me that the next week, right, which means the next candle might be a red candle. Same thing here. The next candle here might be a red candle, which means if you are looking to buy based on the daily, the next candle might be a red candle, meaning that we will lose if you are buying this market. So you guys see my thought process behind these trades, right? But this is not a bad area of interest. As you can see from the 4-hour time frame, is even way more cleaner. It's a very clean area of interest, right? But good thing we have a pattern that we always look for, so we don't have to enter a trade if we don't really have that break, retest, engulfing, so we don't really have to really force the trade, right? So Now here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking, right? There's a We'll go to the lower time frame. I think it will be cleaner there, the 1 hour time frame. Let's draw a minor trend line here. Right now, 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame is actually currently bearish, right? So 1 hour time frame is currently bearish. So technically, we now have to wait for a shift of structure, right? You have to wait for a shift of structure. So I'll draw this trend line like this because there's reaction from this level, from basically this line. There's a lot of reaction, right? So I mean, I could have drawn it above outside, but let's just leave it like this. So the 1 hour structure time 1 hour structure is still clearly bearish, right? So for us to even be interested in buying this market, the 1 hour structure have to now switch bullish again, have a break, a retest, and give us an engulfing for us to even enter the market. Do you get? So you know, the weekly time frame is a very big turn off for me to enter this market, but that's why we are traders, right? Some things we are just going to have to risk it, right? But just be aware of what we are doing, which pair is risky, which pair is not risky, and all those things, right? But for now, I can't really know what to do here, right? So the best bet might actually be maybe a minor break and retest above here, but that will not be a clean market structure. Let's see how the 30 minutes look. Okay, this is more like a 30 minutes area. So for us to have a break and retest above to buy, something like this. Now be very careful with this market actually, because you see all this market structure, they are not like a very clean structure. If you look at this is a very clean structure. It had a retracement, it clearly had a shift, it clearly had a shift. Do you understand? But this right here, we can't see any clear shifts here. Only here, price came down and shifted up. But here, we can basically say it have been selling, or we can basically say it sold and retraced up and then sold again. So you see, it's still a little bit sketchy, a little bit, right? So me, I would like to see a more cleaner price action where price gets back to area of interest again, right? Have a shift of structure, break trend line, have a retest, and an engulfing around here for me to buy, right? By then, the EMA should be coming below, right, and holding market as support. Do you get? So I'll be paying attention to this market. So let's just add it for this week. CAD JPY. CAD JPY. The daily time frame. I think we just missed another buy. Man. Right? So basically we're looking to buy from this support and resistance level, this area of interest. Price bought here 3 times. 1, 2, 3 times. I'm just missing trades here, which is not a good thing, which means I need to pay very close attention to this market this new week. All right, CAD JPY. The daily time frame is bullish, right? The weekly time frame is also bullish in my opinion, right? It's also bullish. So 4 hour time frame, this is actually the major area of interest, right? And price have already rejected from this area. So I'm just looking to see how to continue. So I mean, it's a little bit more risky, right? Because we're supposed to be buying from around this area. But now that price is still above, we can still look for this, right? If you look at this is there's a trend line here. Maybe you can just look for a break and retest above this area right here. So I mean, I'll be willing to risk it, right? I'll be willing to risk it. Now, just to be clear, a little bit minor support and resistance area here on the 4-hour time frame. So I still need price to go up a little bit more, right, before having the retest for us to buy this market. So 1 hour time frame is also going to have a break and retest. So that is basically that simple, right? So I'm adding CAD JPY for this week. USD card daily time frame. I can't even see a clean market structure yet on this. I don't have to force any other pair, right? We already have a lot of pairs this week. This is NZD card. Okay. Next pair, Euro JPY. Let's go to the 4-hour time frame. Euro JPY. I think this is basically the same pair as one of these JPY pairs I called. I'm trying to remember which one. Basically, we are still looking for buys here. I'm not interested in this market. Next pair. Nice. Next pair, USD JPY. The daily time frame is very choppy. I'm not even. Weekly time frame is bullish, right? 4-hour time frame is bullish, right? I don't like the daily time frame. That's why I'm not paying attention to this one. GBP and GBP JPY. It's currently bearish, but we are still somehow above area of interest. Let's look at the daily. I don't like it. GBP card. Same thing. The rest of these other pairs are not that clean. That's actually pretty much it for this week. Oh, if you really look at it, that's pretty much the pairs we're going to be paying attention to this week. AUD JPY. I don't know. I feel like it should continue bearish, right? If we can have a break and retest below this level, right here. Can have a break and retest below this level, you can still continue bearish on AUD JPY. So let me check the daily. Okay, it's just a counter trend trade basically. Yeah, I mentioned it in the let's see how the 4 is looking, and there's a minor head and shoulders here. So I'll just add it for the pairs for this week. This is just a risky one, right? So I'll make a shorter version of this video to explain these pairs again, right? So that's pretty much it for this longer version. Remember to subscribe to the channel, guys. It's actually free, right? And we really hope to make money this week.